Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we do another reaction by Backstory Africa. The title is called "Why African Americans Leave Africa After Moving There." I have to be honest, I watched the whole video recording, not knowing that my recording stopped. So this is me rewatching, so it's not really a reaction at this point. It's just me commenting. Uh, Hopefully, I'm offering the same points or something better. So you won't see me surprised or anything like that. It's really not a reaction at this point, but I made the whole video and I just wanted to redo it again, I guess. So mad right now.
2019 marked the year of return and 400 years since the arrival of the first slaves to the U.S. This coincided with the call for African Americans to return to their homelands. And since then, thousands of Black Americans have in fact been paying heed to the call and making the move to Africa. Most of the diaspora have been moving to Ghana, but many others have also moved to places like Senegal, Ethiopia, Nigeria, Rwanda, and South Africa.
Well, I know, but
The reasons for
I know that like places like South Africa, Nigeria, and Ghana are really popular with people, and a lot of people will go there. In Kenya, I think the reason a lot of people go to Kenya is because Barack Obama was from Kenya. But other than those big countries, not really a lot of people go to other countries in Africa. I wonder why.
leaving the U.S. transcend an ancestral calling. For many, it's the fractured race relations and an existential trauma that exists in the African American psyche since slavery. This all came to a boiling point after the murder of George Floyd in 2020. For many, it was a wake-up call that
Oh, that was
America
crazy,
wasn't really
man.
where they belong, and so they packed their bags in search of more welcoming lands. For
Which
many,
I don't,
they knew
which I don't blame them, man. That was tough time. And it's not like George Floyd. There's so many other people that to go through like that, and nothing will ever change for some reason. And nothing really has been, at least from what I've been seeing. Like, what kind of change do you have to do? If a person dying is not an example, then what kind of example do these people need to stop this? Like, I can't really talk about this because I grew up more of an African, so I know more of like African struggles than African American struggles. Although I've dealt with and seen with African American struggles. But yeah, man.
home in Africa was blissful. A warmer climate, a lower cost of living, better quality food, and a sense of belonging
I
without
never
the need
noticed
to
this. So he's been showing like the beautiful aspect in the beginning, and then if you go towards the end, you'll see when he's giving examples and show you really
challenges
how
of both
Africa looks
subtle
like.
and more overt racism that confronted them in America. However, not everybody had the soft landing they were hoping for. In this video, we'll look at why some African Americans end up returning to the US after making the move to Africa. We've found that there are 4 main reasons. Keep watching until the end, as reason number 4 will surprise you.
But
First
I
up,
already know what number
no
4 is.
jobs. Many African
Facts.
Americans hold the misconception that when they arrive in whichever African country they move to, that they'll be able to easily get a job.
That's a lie. Jobs there is so hard because there's no platform where you can go and say, okay, I'm applying. Like, let's go to Indeed, LinkedIn, or let me go into the stores and see if they're hiring. No, I never seen anyone write a resume over there because jobs there are so highly. Jobs over there are so depending on connections. It's crazy. Like, and somehow I can't really blame people because it's either I want to enrich my family than enrich my country aspect. That's what people are thinking about. Because I've seen it. I went to get renew my passport, and then when they looked at like the passport with my picture and my information, my name, and my date of birth is, the person was looking at me and saying, "What is your last name?" It is right in front of you. How can you not know my last name? It's right there. The reason being is the person is not educated. And imagine those kind of people in hospitals where one error can kill someone. Hopefully, they don't put those people as the people responsible, but they can still be nurses giving you medicine or being a receptionist or something. So they might write the wrong thing, give you the wrong thing because they're not educated and say, oh, this is ibuprofen. Oh, no. I gave him the wrong one. I don't know. abortion pills, for example. So we gotta be is one aspect of Africa which is really needs have something really has to happen because that is really terrible.
Simply isn't the case. Unlike the US, jobs in most African countries are scarce, with unemployment rates sometimes being as high as 50%.
Imagine that they're eating right next to the road because there's no sidewalk. There's like no place you can.
Western world conveniences. A lot of the diaspora often fail to recognize
Times
how cushy their
Square.
lifestyles are in the West.
Wait, can where am I? Where am I? Where am I here?
Only when arriving in Africa do they realize what they've taken for granted. Simple
true.
examples include basic road infrastructure with sidewalks. A lot of African countries may have tarred roads.
Look at this right here. Okay, so this is really outside of like the market, but you can still see shops around, like right next to the roads right here. And so you gotta be careful, like because if you want to cross from here to this side, you gotta be careful because there is no such thing as no there's crosswalks there, but there's no such thing as like signs or anything like that. So it is very rare, especially in this main road. There's no crosswalk. People can just hit you over if you're not careful, if you don't keep an eye. And if you have a kid and if you're not holding that kid tightly, good luck. But yeah, that's really it. And a lot of these stores, and like like there's so much dirt here, so this dust can get into the food or clothes that you can be buying over here. That's why I'm like the people that we just saw earlier in the video, them eating right next to the road. First of all, the hands were dirty and they're dirty, but the dust from the cars are also going to go there. So it's a really unhealthy place. But your immune system will get a lot better, I guess.
But often don't have sidewalks. This means that walking from A to B often isn't an option. So you find yourself driving or taking taxis everywhere. Another example is online shopping. In the US, one can buy an item on Amazon using one-click checkout and it'll be with you later that day. E-commerce.
Yeah, that's one of the greatest convenience of like the Western world right here. Like one click and it comes here. Here you gotta go buy it, and it's gonna be a long. But exercise is always worth it, I guess. Not only are you exercising, you're also gonna learn about like the environment where you live in. So you might like start understand like roads way better, the paths you have to go. But living in Africa, you know like paths like that will cut. You can cut and get places faster, but you gotta be like sometimes you be going through like where they dump their trash and stuff right there. But like, still the shortcut.
May well exist in Africa, but getting an item delivered to you may not be possible. This is.
But I did when I was talking to my family and friends in Africa. They did tell me that now there's something called like it's not Uber, but something like Uber and Lyft, where you can call someone and like a motorcycle will come and pick you up. But since there's no addresses over there, so you gotta tell them exactly the location you live in by explaining the details, what's around you. But being over there where everyone really knows almost every single borough over there is really easy for them to show. Okay, you're in Brooklyn on around the place that has like two towers or something like that, and they'll find you because everybody there just know the place so well. I don't know how you show Africans one way, like you show them a path of how you got it. They'll come and follow those steps back, like they memorize the whole road, even if it's so complex. I don't know how they did that.
Many parts of Africa don't have traditional addresses. The houses don't have names or numbers, and street names often don't
It's
exist.
true. There's no such thing as mailbox.
As a result,
over
people often have to revert to providing landmark references, such as the yellow house opposite the post office
People
next to
following
the
him and they be trying to be in the video. That's so funny.
park.
I want to make
Yeah.
one point also. It's like, and that's getting back to food or things you purchase. I'm noticing this is what I did in the States. When I got like, we drink almond milk or certain dairy products or certain things.
I'm so surprised it's almond milk in Africa. Because I already seen this video.
What's
She's gonna
different
say
here
it.
with the product we got it lasts maybe 5. It says it on the carton just like it does in the States. But those are the things you have to look into, because when I first got here and I got the almond milk, I didn't think about it. I just started keeping it for the amount of days I was used to. And I said, oh, I need to read this and see what.
The problem is, like, I don't know why, as someone educated, I never really read the expiration date, never tried to find out the contents of ingredients in there, which is weird because I can read. So imagine me who can read, and then people who can't read don't know the contents up there. So that's why everything we buy, we use the day of that day exactly, because it is like fridge are expensive over there, and it's not every household that has it. Thank God now that my family, some of my family have it, so we can still. There's certain parts of my family I can at least use the fridge and make food last for at least a week or so. But that is one of the issues.
I'm realizing it's the less amount of days. And so those are the things you have to look at too. Things that maybe you were used to getting of certain products that maybe had an expiration date different in the States, it may be different here. So just little.
For some folks, not having these Western conveniences is more important than they realized, and before long they start to miss
That
the
is
comfort.
true. Like well, the comfort, yeah. So living in that kind of environment where you can access everything like that, the moment that comes off, if you don't adapt quickly, you're like you'll get sick of this place. You'll be afraid. You're like, oh no, I gotta get this, I gotta get that. That's when this place ain't for you. You either got overcome it, or the other place is just run back home.
American living and end up moving back. Culture. African Americans often erroneously believe that when they move to Africa, they'll fit right into the culture like a hand in a glove. This is very rarely the case. Although the
reason is, like, no matter how much you read and know the culture of Africa, without without experiencing it, it is going to be very hard on you, because culture isn't simple as this. You got to live into it. You can experience it. You can't learn it exactly as soon as you get there. It's through the years, because it's also evolving. That's how you do it. And then by being that certain culture is when people start knowing you and stuff.
ancestors may hail from the African country they have moved to. Being so many generations removed from this country means that culturally they have very little in common with these people. Don't be expecting grits and deep fried chicken in Ghana. There aren't going to be any gospel singers in Senegal. Many people in Africa have never heard of Steve Harvey and don't care.
Facts.
The ones who try.
If you're not Michael Jackson, Bob Marley, or Beyonce, I don't know if you're not those three, most of the part of the world you go to, no one really knows you. Those three are so famous that it's really hard to go a place without knowing those people.
And adapt can sometimes make it work, but culture is a complex thing which is hard to articulate into words. It's also a feeling, and sometimes that feeling for African Americans in Africa just isn't there.
Yeah.
Here in America, you have selected different types of foods. If you want Mexican, if you want Italian, if you want Jamaican, if you want all of these different types of foods.
Yeah, there's no such thing over there. I've never seen
Africa,
it's just
those
rice.
Areas who have that, if they have that, are going to be tremendously high to eat at.
Lack of choice.
Yeah.
America is perhaps more the land of plenty than the land of the free. You never have a lack of choice when making a decision in America. If you want to book a flight from New York to Los Angeles, you can choose from more than 6 different airlines. In most African countries, you may only have one airline to choose from. If you want to furnish a house or apartment, you have a cornucopia of choice when it comes to sofas, rugs, and tables and chairs. In Africa, this choice will most certainly be more limited.
The reason being is because the people there, the skills they have, not a lot of them have those skills. And the people that have those skills are a minority. And so they can't provide you a lot of options because they don't know. It's whatever they learn is whatever they're going to show you and whatever they're going to give you. And people that go to China to buy these furnitures can only do it based on the budget they have and the mindset that they have. And most of the people that go to China aren't really educated. So, and the education does not equal creativity, but it brings forth creativity, because not only are you going to school, you're experiencing life with other people, you also learn about cultures from different side of the world through that. So without really reading or experiencing it, your mindset will not go there. That's why they have a simple way of looking at stuff. So the option that they will give you is not really that much, and because of that, the choices you have are minimal. And
The lack
now
of
that
choice
lack of
makes
job
things
too
more
causes a
one-dimensional and also
lack
will
of choice.
invariably mean that prices on goods and services
Because if you do not have enough money, you don't have enough choices. It's based on the budget that you have is what you need. No matter if there's more options in Africa or not, because the lack of jobs equals the lack of money. You can't. It's the only thing you can afford. It's this. It's the only thing you will get.
will be greater.
Then you want to go ahead and buy the items that you're so used to, whether it's dishwashing liquid, whether it is clothing, whether it is, whether it's cleaning items, whether it is, the food, or whether any item that's got to be imported in, it is going to be a task on your pockets.
All in all, every country has its pros and cons. Through trial and error, many African Americans have found a new home in Africa. For some who have
Yes, I know. Yeah, like he just said, just because a lot of people are coming back doesn't mean there's not other people that can adapt and end up living there. We always adapt. So yes, the other people are running away, but there's African Americans over there that are adapt, living life and enjoying it. And then actually like realize life is better over there. There's always, like he said, there's always pros and cons for every place you live. Yes, there's bad aspects in Africa. Yes, but there's also good over there. Like you get to enjoy life. The culture there is nice. Doesn't mean that the life there is better than here or worse than here. It's just what you like, and if you're happy, you're
moved
happy.
over there more flippantly, African living has often not met their expectations and they've ended up moving back to the States. The moral of this video is to do your homework and plan effectively before deciding to up and leave the US for Africa.
Yeah, don't be dumb. Always do your research, I guess. Hey. So thank you for the video. Backstory Africa. It was a great video. Thank you guys again for watching. I know this isn't much of a reaction because all the reactions I could have provided was off because the camera shut off. But thank you guys again for sticking through the video. Subscribe, comment, like the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.